Namo Buddhaya, meritorious Dhamma friends. We are very much happy to meet you again to teach you the Sampajanna Sutta, what mindfulness is, to teach you the benefits of practicing mindfulness and apply mindfulness in our day-to-day lives. So, to apply the Buddha's great realization, to follow the Buddha's great realization, and to live according to the Buddha's realization, we should learn the Buddha's great realization. So that's what we are doing through this program, and we are very much happy to share the Buddha's great realization, especially the Satipatthana Sutta and other suttas, other teachings from the Buddha's teachings. So, first of all, let's go for refuge to Buddha Dhamma Sangha and observe 5 precepts to go to the Dhamma sermon. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now we have to observe the 5 precepts. So say after me. I observe the precept of abstaining from killing beings. I observe the precept of abstaining from stealing. I observe the precept of abstaining from sexual misconduct. I observe the precept of abstaining from telling lies. I observe the precept of abstaining from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. I follow these precepts for happiness in this life, for rebirth in heaven, and to realize the 4 noble truths. In this Gautama Buddha, Namo Buddhaya, may my homage be to my teacher, to our Loko Swamin Wahanse, most venerable Avasarai Kiribadgoda Jnanananda Maha Thera. Dear Dhamma friends, so far we have shared 3 meditation techniques with you all. First one was the breathing meditation, and then you learned the the mindfulness on body postures, and then the third one is mindfulness on each and every posture, each and every movement, or in whatever the position you are, in whatever the bodily actions that you do, you should be mindful. So that is the Sampajanna meditation. So even if you are seated, you are aware that you are seated. Even when you are looking around, you are aware what you are looking. And also now, while we are looking around, while walking forward, while returning, then while you are stretching your arms, while bending arms, uh, while you are silent, while you are eating, even while you are urinating and defecating, we should be mindful. So remember, mindful means we are not letting any bad thought to disturb our mind and harm our mind. So today, let's learn how could our minds get distracted and how could our minds get polluted. Now imagine, sometimes when we hate each other, imagine you hate someone that you hate someone at the working place. So if you hate someone at the working place, you might not like to see him again and again, and you might not like when he assign you work. Then, so what happens when you think of him? When you think of him, you feel uncomfortable. Even if you come home from your working place, yet while you are spending time with your family members, you might remember that person who gave you a lot of work in the office. So now you have already come back home, but then you feel uncomfortable because you are thinking that person. So now the problem is we recall these unnecessary incidents again and again, and we keep on worrying about those things without cutting the roots. So if we can stop paying attention to that thought, that particular sign that we saw earlier. Now the incident would have happened in the morning, but in the evening we are thinking of that incident and suffering on our own. Suffering without any reason, because the incident happened in the morning. So the suffering that we experience later on after the incident is not because of the incident, it's because of our own unwise contemplation and unwise way of thinking. We should be always mindful of what we are thinking, of what we are doing and speaking. So this mindfulness, this great quality of developing mindfulness and being established in mindfulness will protect us always. So remember, the first simile I taught you in the first program is, it's like having a gatekeeper for your land or for your house or for the entire city. So during the king's time, there was a gatekeeper. They had huge gates. The city is covered by a fence, and there's a huge gate. So the gatekeeper knows whom to take in and whom to send out, and whom to not to take in and whom to keep inside the city. Furthermore, dear Dhamma friends, we should be very well aware of our life and also about our life, the nature of our life. We only by understanding the true nature of our life, we will be able and we will feel like developing mindfulness. Now, for you to learn the reality of life, there's a wonderful sutta in Samyutta Nikaya, in the book of Samyutta Nikaya. The name of the sutta is Dhanugha Sutta. In that sutta, you get to learn about archers. The sutta is Buddha preaches there are 4 archers. There are 4 people with bows and arrows. Now these 4 archers are facing 4 directions. So one person is facing the north, the other person is facing the south, the other 2 are facing east and west. Now imagine, now there are 4 archers facing 4 directions, opposite direction. Can you imagine now? Very good. Imagine now. Then a very capable man, a very powerful and energetic man comes to that place, and he thinks uh, like this. Now, if these four people shoot an arrow, if they hit an arrow at one instance, if they release the arrows at once, all of those four people, I would go and pick all those arrows before those arrows land to the ground. What do you think? Is it a possible thinking he did? There are people who can do such things. This man, Buddha asked the bhikkhus, the monks, dear bhikkhus, what do you think about that person? His capability, his ability. The bhikkhu said, blessed one, if at least if he can pick one arrow, he is extremely a wonderful person. He is extremely a great person who has great energy. Then the bhikkhu said, blessed one, he is an extremely energetic person, a very rare person who is capable of such a deed. Then Buddha preached, dear bhikkhus, more than that man's speed of picking up all the arrows before those arrows land to the earth, Buddha preached, the speed of the sun and moon is far more greater than the speed of that person. The Buddha preached, dear bhikkhus, the speed of the divine beings bound to the sun and moon are moving faster than the sun and moon. Then finally Buddha preached, our life is getting closer to death. Our life is getting worn out. The time that we have to live in this world is losing more than the speed of those divine beings bound to the sun and moon. Did we realize that? Now if you are 30 years, think back the 30 years. If you are 40 years, think of 40 years. Do we feel that 40 years? The duration of 40 years. Can we feel, oh, I lived for 40 years, or if you have lived for 50 years, can you feel that? We can't feel it. It's like just few hours. You can't even recollect it. Even if you recollect, you don't feel this 50 years. That much our lives are ending. That much we are losing the time to live and survive in this world. So remember, our lifespan, our life is getting used up day by day very fast, more than the speed of that person who can pick up the four arrows. Remember, Buddha finally preaches, our life is ending more than the speed of that person, more than the speed of the sun and the moon, more than the speed of the earth, the divine beings bound to the sun and moon. Our life is ending. So we should be aware that our life is ending. Just imagine how people suffer. Now these days, due to this coronavirus problem, now usually when they are living at home as a family, when they get angry, sometimes when they can't bear it, they leave the house and go. Now they can't leave the house and also go. Now they can't leave the house and go. Now what happens? They are bursting. They can't bear it. So that means people are used to just to fulfill their desires and gain some happiness. But remember, we can't always fulfill our desires. There's extent we can fulfill desires, but there's one fine day you will have to control the desires. If not, we have to experience suffering. Now imagine now if we are locked down to one place, and if we are suffering so much, being unable to go out and meet our friends and gain some happiness. Just imagine one day when we have to live on a sick bed. when we get onto a sick bed, what refuge we can have. Remember, one day when we get onto a sick bed, what refuge we have. How can we move? Think of those old people. Buddha told us. Now see, the Blessed One, when he was living in the palace as a bodhisattva, he saw an old person, he saw a sick person. By seeing an old person, by seeing a sick person, he took a message for his life. He thought, oh, I will also get old one day. I will get weak. Then I will get sick one day. How much money we have, we can't overcome sickness, we can't overcome old age. How wealthy we are, we can't overcome old age, we can't overcome diseases. Then Buddha thought, I should find a way that I can abandon old age, diseases, death forever. Then only he realized, he saw a monk and then he practiced various ascetic practices, and then finally he discovered the Noble Eightfold Path. And then he followed the Noble Eightfold Path, and he abandoned rebirth. Once you abandon birth, what happened? There's no more old age, death, sorrow, lamentation, grief, separation from loved ones, mixing with people that you do not like. All those problems are abandoned. So remember, for a long time we have been fulfilling our hopes and desires. But remember, not all our hopes and desires can be fulfilled. So if we can't fulfill our desires, then we feel sad, we get depressed. So we should have mindfulness to abandon the desires and live according to the way we want. Because there are pleasant feelings, there are unpleasant feelings, and there are neither pleasant and neither unpleasant feelings. So if we can change the contact, now feeling arises due to contact. Now imagine if you see something from your eyes, eye forms eye consciousness. Then you feel. So after seeing something, after seeing something miserable, after seeing something unpleasant, if we keep on thinking of what we have seen before, you will feel uncomfortable again and again. So what you should do is, don't keep on paying attention to that particular contact. Change the contact. Start thinking something else. Think about the Buddha, spread loving kindness, then you will have a different kind of a feeling. So we should learn to change the contact, then the feelings will change. So see the Buddha's marvelous realization. So now we should learn from the Sampajanna Sutta. Now Punacha Param Bhikkave Bhikkhu. Again, monks, I teach you another meditation. A monk who's intent on realizing the Dhamma dwells with complete awareness. Abhikante patikante sampajanakari hoti. Dwells with complete awareness and wisdom directed to eradicate defilements when going forward and returning. So when he's going forward and returning, he should not let any unwholesome thought to come to his mind. What are these unwholesome thoughts? Thoughts that are related to lust. Thoughts that are related to, connected to lust. Thoughts that are connected to anger. Thoughts that are connected to anger. Thoughts that are connected to delusion. Now if someone have died, you are thinking about that person who died again and again. Now the person would have died, he has born already in another place. It could be in a divine world, or it could be in a bad destination. Whatever that could happen to that person has already happened. Just like a snake removes its outer skin, a person will give up this body and will receive another body. If it is in a birth in a divine world, a spontaneous birth. Among the ghosts, it's a spontaneous birth. We are just looking at the dead body and crying, as if we invited that person to come to this world. Without our invitation, people came to this world. Without our consent, they are leaving. We should be aware of these things early itself. So when we know these things, what happens? Our delusion dispels. Then the thoughts that are connected to delusion will not penetrate our mind, will not distract our mind. So while you are going forward and returning, try to be aware of what you are thinking. Have mindfulness and abandon them while going forward and returning. Then Buddha preaches alokito alokite vilokite sampajanakari hoti. While looking ahead and looking around, don't let any unwholesome thought to distract your mind. Always think what you are thinking. Then change the contact, then the feelings will change. If you are spreading loving kindness, if you are thinking loving kindness, that's good. Now imagine, now these days you are at home. Then imagine now if your children, or maybe uh, if there are a lot of people in the house, they might always, the children might mess up the house. Then when early morning when you wake up, you see them, you see how ugly the house is. So when you look around, you might get angry at your kids. Then you should remember, when kids have uh, if the kids have messed up the place, you should understand that these things are not under my control. Then without of compassion, you try to advise them, and if they do it, they can do it. If not, you can clean the place and protect your mind. Because we try to clean the house, but while we are trying to clean the house, but our minds are polluted. While we are polluting our mind, we are trying to clean the house. Is it useful? Is it useful, dear Dhamma friends? No, not useful. So our house would be clean forever until we live. But after we die, are we born in a clean place? Are we born in a peaceful place? Think yourself. Become mindful. So don't get angry for the things that you see around. Don't get angry for the things that you see and that you experience in life. Try to take opportunity for you to gain merit and do your work. When you go to the bathroom, sometimes in the working place, it might be ugly. Then what do we remember? Do we remember the workers, or do we remember ourselves to clean this? We remember the person who make this place untidy. So if we have mindfulness, we will remember that person also, but then before that we will remember, okay, I will clean this out. You will not make an issue. You might thinking, who knows, people would have various problems. So we should try to develop a broad mind, not a narrow mind. They are Buddha's disciples. If you have these qualities, be happy thinking that you are a disciple of a Buddha. You can say wholeheartedly Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. You can say wholeheartedly Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. You can say wholeheartedly Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, because you have these qualities. If not, say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami and develop these qualities. So same thing then Buddha preaches, when you are bending and stretching limbs, we should not let any unwholesome thought to damage, to harm, to pollute our mind. So you can do this from morning you wake up, from the time that you wake up until you go back to bed, you can practice this meditation peacefully. So I gave you another supporting factor to practice, that is being aware of the contact, what you are thinking. So when we change the contact, feeling changes. Now imagine someone is pinching your right hand, but you keep on paying attention to the left hand. Then will you feel the pain in the right hand? No. Why? Your mind is strongly on the left hand. See, when you change your mind, the thoughts, even the feelings changes. Sometimes just imagine, sometimes haven't you experienced when you're watching TV? Even if a person calls you, you can't hear. Why? Your contact is very strong towards the thing that you see. Then you can't hear anything. In the same way, we can forget the bad thoughts. If in the same way we can forget our enemies, how wonderful it is. We can change the contact with the help of mindfulness. That's why the refuge, the protection that we get from a Buddha is not simple. That's why we should learn this Dhamma with respect, with enormous respect. Then Buddha preaches, Sanghatipat Chivaradharane Sampajanakari Hoti, dwells with complete awareness and wisdom directed to eradicate defilements. That means his life is directed to always eradicate defilements. Because we might quarrel with others for money. We might quarrel with others to survive. But the things that we receive in life, For the things that we fight, one day will get damaged. After we die, we will lose them. But the bad karma, we will have to carry to our next life. Sometimes some people fight for women. Some women fight for men. But do they take their partners or those women or men to their next life? No. But the karma they are taking to their next life. Not only for the next life, this life also. Ditta Dhamma Vedina, that means they might have to suffer in this life. Karma give results in this life, karma give results in next life, karma give results until we attain Nibbana. Throughout the samsara. Not a joke. So that's why we should not fight for things. We should not quarrel for things. We should not get sad for things, because that karma we will take, but not those things that we fought and we cried, and the things that we were attached. Even because of a beautiful thing, if we get attached and we keep on thinking about that day and night, remember those things, once they get old, we don't even think of those things. So we should be aware of these things. So while wearing clothes, while wearing now Sangatipata Chivara Dharani Sampajanakari Hoti, while wearing robes, now this was taught straight away to the monks. So while wearing robes, while holding the alms bowl, we should not let any unwholesome thought to come. So in the same way, when you all are wearing clothes, even when you all are wearing clothes, shouldn't let any unwholesome thoughts arise. Sometimes people wear clothes and throw them away if they are not fitting. So after they wear clothes, if it is not fitting, if they are sweating after wearing it, they get angry with the cloth. Remember, we are wearing clothes for one purpose. We should have that wise contemplation to overcome heat, to overcome cold, to overcome the distractions that we get from flies, mosquitoes, and creatures, and to cover the shy places. To cover the shy places. So while wearing clothes, we should be mindful. Then asite pite kaite saite sampajanakari hoti, dwells with complete awareness and wisdom, directed to eradicate defilements. What? Directed to eradicate defilements. No other hopes. That's his hope in life. That's his hope in life. When eating, drinking, chewing, and tasting, he should be mindful. Now take the challenge. Take the challenge. Whether the food is delicious or not, protect your mind. Protect your mind. Don't accumulate karma. Even if we eat delicious food every day, if you fight because of one meal and create an enemy, imagine you fight, you complain and you complain, or you sometimes complain the waiters or these people when you go to restaurants. Then sometimes you might complain and you might make a big fuss and uh, maybe have arguments with a waiter or with a person with a worker in a restaurant. So just for one meal, just for one food plate, just for the money that you pay, but then imagine you are creating an enemy. Forget about, okay, if you are powerful, okay, you will not meet him again, but you are accumulating a karma just because of a food plate, accumulating a karma to give results in many lives. Just because of one food plate, just because of few dollars, we are accumulating a karma to give results in 100 lives or 200 lives. Is it worth it? Not worth it. Protect your mind even while eating. Then Buddha preaches, Uchchara Passava Kamme Sampajanakari Hoti. What's the meaning of it? Even while urinating and defecating, you should be mindful. That means they might get angry and get fed up even while urinating and defecating. Be mindful. Then Buddha preaches, Gate tite nisinne sutte jagarate bhasite tunhi bhave sampajanakari hoti. When walking, standing, sitting, sleeping, awake, talking and keeping silent, protect your mind. No problem then. Take the challenge. So I taught you a secret. What's the secret? Always change the contact. Then feeling changes. So any bad thoughts come from a, if it is a lustful thought, change the contact. Try to see the reality, then the lustful thoughts will abandon. If you see something beautiful, remember, if it is a human being, if it is a living being, if it is a living being, if it is beautiful, remember these beautiful things are changing. these beautiful things are made up with disgusting things. Now, if you take our body, if you take any person's body, how beautiful the skin color is. The skin has a disgusting nature. It sweats. It gets rotten. Anytime that nature is there. Now, before you eat, do you rub the whole body and eat food? No. How, imagine that's a beautiful person. Do you go and rub that beautiful person's body and eat next moment? No. Why? That's a disgusting nature. So when you see something beautiful, remember the true nature of the body, then you don't get attached. Then no lustful thoughts. So when you see a sign in a wrong way, then with the help of mindfulness, see it in a true way, then the contact changes, then the feeling changes. Then the mind is protected. You're practicing mindfulness. So remember, uh, our lives are getting over, and our lives are ending, and our lives are getting worn out, getting used up. We are losing the we are losing the time to live in this world more than the speed of that person who can pick up the 4 arrows. Our lives are getting closer to death. Our lifespan is ending up just like the speed of the sun and moon, more than the speed of the sun and moon. Our lives are ending up more than the speed of the devas bound to that sun and moon. So remember, understand all these Dhamma points, and these Dhamma points will help you to develop effort to practice mindfulness. So I taught you that story of the 4 archers to have effort to practice this mindfulness before you die. And I taught you about contact, and feeling arises due to contact. I told you to change the contact. Why? Purposely we should change the contact. Why? Then we can maintain and protect our mind from bad thoughts. And then Buddha taught, and also from the Buddha's teachings, all these are from the Buddha's teachings. From the Sampajanna meditation, Buddha clearly taught us the moments and the situations, and in which in the places, how while going forward, while returning, then while looking around, all these moments, how to we should be protecting our mind in all these moments. So may you have the opportunity to protect your mind in all these moments, and realize the Buddha's teachings, and develop mindfulness to a great extent, and realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya.